Things Fall Apart. Part 3, Return to Umuofia. Chapter 20, page 84. 7 years was a long time to be away from one's clan. A man's place was not always there, waiting for him. As soon as he left, someone else rose to fill it. Okonkwo knew these things. He knew he had lost his place among the 9 masked spirits who administered justice in the clan. He had lost the chance to lead his warlike clan against the new religion. He had lost the years in which he might have taken the highest titles. But he was determined his return should be marked by his people. He would regain the 7 wasted years. The first thing he would do would be to rebuild his compound on a more magnificent scale. He would build huts for 2 new wives. Then he would show his wealth by initiating his sons into the Ozo Society. Only the great men in the clan did this. Okonkwo saw himself taking the highest title in the land. And as the years had passed, it had seemed to him that his chi might be making amends for the past disaster. His yams grew abundantly, both in his motherland and in Umuofia. Then the tragedy of his first son had occurred. At first it appeared as if it might prove too great for his spirit. In the end, Okonkwo overcame his sorrow. He had 5 other sons. He sent for his sons. The youngest was 4. "You have seen all the great abomination of your brother. I will only have a son who is a man. If any of you prefers to be a woman, let him follow Nioi while I am alive so I can curse him." Okonkwo was very lucky in his daughters. He never stopped regretting Azima was a girl. She alone understood his every mood. A bond of sympathy had grown between them as the years had passed. Azima became one of the most beautiful girls in Mabanta. She was called Crystal of Beauty, as her mother had been called in her youth. The young ailing girl had grown almost overnight into a healthy maiden. She had her moments when she snapped at everybody like an angry dog. As long as these moods lasted, she could bear no other person but her father. Many young men and prosperous middle-aged men of Mabanta wanted to marry her. She refused them all because her father had said to her, "There are many good people here, but I shall be happy if you marry in Umuofia when we return home." That was all he said. But Azima had seen clearly the thought behind the few words. She had agreed. She also agreed to explain to Obiageli, her half-sister. Azima wielded a strong influence over her half-sister, and she also agreed. The 2 of them refused every offer of marriage in Mabanta. "I wish she were a boy," Okonkwo thought. Who else among his children could have read his thoughts so well? With 2 beautiful grown-up daughters, his return to Umuofia would attract considerable attention. His future sons-in-law would be men of authority. The poor would not dare come forth. Umuofia had indeed changed. The church had come and led many astray. Sometimes a worthy man had joined. Such a man was Ogbuefi Ugonna, who had taken 2 titles and, like a madman, had cut the anklet of his titles and cast it away to join the church. Apart from the church, the white men had also brought a government. They had built a court where the district commissioner judged cases in ignorance. He had court messengers who brought men before him. Many of these messengers came from Umuru, where the white men first had come many years before. These court messengers guarded the prison, which was full of men who had offended against the white man's law. Some had thrown away their twins, and some had molested the Christians. They were beaten in the prison and had to work every morning cleaning the government compound and fetching wood. Okonkwo's head was bowed in sadness as Obierika told him these things. "I cannot understand these things you tell me. What has happened to our people? Why have they lost their power to fight?" "Our own men and sons had joined the ranks of the stranger," said Obierika. "We would find it easy to drive out the white men in Umuofia, But people would go to Umuru and bring the soldiers, and we would be like Abame. The white man is very clever. He came quietly with his religion, and we were amused and allowed him to stay. Now he has won our brothers, and our clan can no longer act like one. He put a knife on the things that held us together, and we have fallen apart." The two men sat in silence for a long while afterwards.